Our buddy drew dicks on our friend's car rim. Senior year of high school, me, my buddy Griff, we had last class of the day together. Our coach was one of those assistant baseball coaches that didn't really care and just let us out early all the time. And our buddies, Beef and 7-5, had lacrosse practice after school. I think they both had 7th period study hall, so they got out a full class period early. Well, they would just screw around because they had to come back for practice after school. Beef and 7-5, they fought every day.
That's every day.
Like, all the time.
Throw his backpack.
No joke, every single day, whether it was in passing or in class or after school, there was some type of fight. Even if we were hanging out on the weekends, they would just fight. Griff and I get out of class early, walking down to our cars. Beef and 7-5 are already out there. And Beef had, I gotta say, I have to give Beef credit. He had the quickest hands in the world when it came to stealing from 7-5. In our era, especially in high school, you had your lanyard with your keys. And Beef just always snagged 7-5's lanyard, and it wasn't hard to do because he always had it hanging out of his backpack or something. But no joke, for probably a few months straight, everybody drove 7-5's car except for 7-5. Somebody always had his keys out of our friend group and was taking his car somewhere after class. So Griff and I walk out. They're in a full-on brawl with each other. And we're like, what the hell is going on? 7-5 is trying with all his might to keep Beef from getting in his car. Well, Beef was just bigger than 7-5. Beef gets in 7-5's car, and as he goes to accelerate, we weren't really paying attention because we were watching him fight. You see 7-5 in sheer panic. 7-5 had put his lacrosse gear under his car. So your lacrosse bag's like your stick, helmet, and I never even played lacrosse, but I know that equipment is expensive. Like, if you have all your shit in your bag at once, you're probably close to $1,000 or more worth of equipment, right? Beef accelerates, runs the backpack over, runs over all of 7-5's lacrosse gear, his helmet and everything. And we were like, oh shit. Beef stops, felt the bump. 7-5 grabs his bag. He's like, no. And we all were like, damn, that's fucked up. And Beef proceeds to say, well, why the hell did you have your stuff? That was pretty stupid. Like, it's not my fault. And sorry, not my fault. And then grabs his shit and goes into lacrosse practice. So 7-5 takes his helmet and stuff out. His helmet's crushed. Like, it's totally cockeyed. I think his stick was bent too. All his shit was fucked up. His bag got run over by a car. He gets pissed. He's like, that fucker. Beef's gone in practice. 7-5 takes out a permanent marker and starts drawing penises. He's drawing dicks all over the rims of Beef's car. So, long story short, they go to practice. Beef goes home, and I don't remember if Beef said his family, like one of his, I don't remember if he said his brothers and sisters or his parents saw it, or maybe Beef saw it. I hope to God it was just Beef that saw it. But 7-5 had drawn a bunch of penises, maybe a couple other obscenities on Beef's car, and Beef found it and couldn't wash it off because his permanent marker. So they had to color it in. So for months, Beef was coming into school. It had he had a Honda Civic with the spoke rims, like the little skinny metal pieces. So it just colored in on one tire. There's 2 spots where it's colored, shaded in black on silver rims. So that was just hilarious. And their parking lot fights happened a lot. There was another time way earlier in the school year, we were all pretty tight on the cross country team as seniors, and dick thing to do, but as a high school kid, you don't really want another kid, especially if they're a little odd, joining the squad, right? So this kid, he was, looking back on it, in all honesty, he was a pretty nice kid, but we're like, this kid's kind of fucking weird, wants to hang out with us all the time, and one of those kids that just tried to be a little too fake nice, not really our vibe. After school one day, we're getting ready to go into practice, and I don't remember if it was before practice or right after practice, but Beef and 7-5 are fighting in the parking lot again, and Beef threw 7-5 into this kid's car, and they put a huge dent in the side of this kid's car. And he had obviously got his mom or dad's old car. It was a pretty nice car for high school. He came out, and we're all like, just casually acting like we would normally be after practice, and we were like, fuck, here he comes, like, and it wasn't, it doesn't, not as obvious as it sounds in the story, because, we were fucking around in the parking lot every day after practice. That wasn't unusual. So we just kind of kept doing our thing. I think we were throwing a football around or something, and he comes out, he's like, doesn't notice it at first, puts his bags in his car, and he's like, did you guys do this dent to the car? Did you guys dent this car? And we're like, no, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, that's so weird. I mean, he took like a 15-minute session just to like look at the car, and like he's studying it, and we're like, obviously none of us are going to snitch on our boys, so we're like, yeah, that's terrible, man. I wonder if somebody's hit it with their door, or somebody bumped it on their way out from school. That's shitty. Sorry about that, dude. And he's like, yeah, that's all right. I can't believe that happened. I don't know when it happened. He's like, hopefully we can buff it out. And then, we left, and he left, and that was it. But that one was a little fucked up for all of us. We were like, a little bit of guilt on that one. That was messed up. But, that's high school, right? That shit happens. One thing, though, about our friend group that I always find so funny, looking back on it now, me and Griff, for whatever reason, we were always the scapegoats out of our cross-country friends. Like, it never failed that even if we weren't super involved, like, even if we were just kind of like outlying characters in particular moments, Griff and I usually got blamed. Whether it was both of us at once or just one or the other, we usually were blamed for everything, especially by our coach. Our coach just had us as the two red flags in the group. Beef got thrown in there every once in a while, but usually Beef at 7'5", who were easily the most out of control out of the four of us in high school, were usually home free. And it wasn't even just with our coach, it was like socially too, especially for me. It was always funny. I was definitely, don't get me wrong, I mean, I earned kind of that, villainized character socially in high school, but damn, it was a lot of times that I would get blamed for shit, or Griff would get called out on shit, and we're like, dude, that wasn't even fucking us, but fuck you for calling us. So, that's just the fun of high school friends, especially when you have good friends in high school, because, you have no problem taking heat for them. And, Beef at 7'5" took plenty of heat for us back in the day, too. But it was always funny like that. When you have a great group of friends like that, you don't mind having their backs or covering for them with that type of shit. So it was always just great stories. And I just hope that every kid has a similar group of friends that they get to maximize their high school experience with. So, talks to Tom. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away of the street.